All right, guys. Hi, welcome to BeLive's 1 year birthday celebration. I'm so honored to be here. I want to thank Jeff Adams for that great introduction, and he's going to be a great host all day long. And wow, BeLive, amazing. 1 year, in this startup world, online streaming, tech world, that is quite an accomplishment. So I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to have to wing it with the actual comments. I'm sure the BeLive staff will be putting them up there. So what am I here to talk to you about? I'm the first mini conference of the day. I'm so excited. I'm talking about how we used live streaming to build our stream, to build our community, to build our following to where they actually sent us to the Olympics in Rio. So who am I? So I was the founder of Florida Swim Network. And Florida Swim Network live streamed competitive swim meets here in the state of Florida. All right. Have you ever been to a swim meet? They are not that interesting. If you're a parent like me and your kid is into their youth sports, you like going to see them, but they're not that exciting. So we actually started live streaming those swim meets. Little age groupers swimming. We're not talking Michael Phelps. We're not talking Ryan Lochte, but guess what? People loved it. Our audience loved it because we were one of the first back in 2010, 2011 to start live streaming amateur sports. So there are a couple lessons that we learned along the way in building our audience. And so I'm going to share those 3 tips with you. But before I get to them, the one thing I have to say is live streaming is hard, guys. When we started, it was really, really hard. I mean, it was the Wild West. People didn't know how to hook more than one camera up. You didn't know how to do a switcher. You had to worry about the timing of the frames. You had to worry about audio. And for us, we were poolside. And so it was especially hard. And that's what BeLive does. This has made it incredibly, incredibly easy. So thank you, BeLive. In fact, you're my main streaming platform now because you make it so easy. All right. So, live streaming to raise money to send to the Olympics. That's what we're talking about. So what did I learn in building our community? So we started off with live streaming, and our first broadcast, we quickly realized, and this is my first tip, is it's not television. This is not television. So don't treat it like television. If you're doing a live stream, there are a lot of other people live streaming out there. How are you going to be different? What are you going to do that is different from everybody else's? And that's the big thing here. So we've got this chat room that the BeLive staff is manning, and I love it. Talk to your people. Use that engagement. And because you have multiple cameras, be able to use some things that they wouldn't do on television. So we weren't trying to recreate ESPN with our amateur live streams of swim meets. So what did we do? We did some fun things. We had some athletes do interviews with each other. We had some of the coaches do interviews with their athletes. We would do behind the scenes shots. We would talk with the officials. We would get right up close on the pool. So we did some really unusual things that they wouldn't have done if it were traditional television. And I think that's what a lot of people try and miss. They try to recreate TV. Don't do it. Take advantage of this awesome platform and make it your own. All right. So that's my first tip, is don't try and copy anybody else. Try and see how you are different. So my second tip, use the chat room. So I see a lot of great people in here. I see Elaine. I see Nevo. Cheryl, thanks you guys for joining in. I assure some of you guys are going to be broadcasting later today and giving your best tips. And so use that chat room. It was the #1 engagement builder. So let me explain this. So Florida is a pretty international state. We have families here from all over the world. We have a huge community of Russian families that live here. We have a huge community of Chinese families that live here that are doing business here, working in the state of Florida. And so their kids are swimming. And so they have grandparents and extended family all over the world. So when we would go live, we would give grandparents a chance to see their kids swimming in the pool. And you know what? They wanted to talk with us. They wanted to be here on deck. And so they would sit there and they would put it on the actual chat room saying, oh, please tell my grandson how proud we are swimming of him. And you know what we did? We actually read the comments out and we said, hey, Grandma, thanks for tuning in. We're going to make sure little Johnny knows that you're watching. Hey, Johnny, down there in lane 3, Grandma's watching. She wants to make sure you do well. And you know what? It really upped our engagement. We had people watching an age group swim meet. We're not talking Michael Phelps. We're not talking Ryan Lochte. We had them watching an age group swim meet for like 12 and 13 minutes of time on site with us. And they knew us. They got to know us as real people commentating. We got to know them as real people viewing. I have grandparents in South Africa that would tune in to watch. I have an open invitation to go to South Africa anytime. They keep inviting me down there. We had swim coaches that taught an American school in China that would tune in to watch his students swim here. We had a mom that was stationed over in Afghanistan, Will Tabor's mom. He was swimming in the championship meet. She couldn't wait to tune in middle of the night there in Afghanistan to watch her son swim. She said she felt like she was on deck. So treat your community as friends. Get to know them. Hey, thanks, Irene. Good evening from the Philippines. That's what I'm talking about. It's such an international place. So I love it. I love it. In fact, I have the ability to put it up there. There we go. So thanks, Irene, for tuning in middle of the night in the Philippines. Definitely can identify with that. All right. So what is my third tip? Stay true to your community. So we were focused on Florida swimmers. And fortunately, we have a huge community of Florida swimmers. There's like almost 200 club teams here in the state of Florida that are swimming teams. So we had a pretty big audience to pull from. But they didn't want to know when Michael Phelps came to town, they didn't want us trying to get the pictures and the interviews with Michael Phelps. You know why? Because everybody else was doing that. They were all NBC, Swimming World. They were all taking care of Michael Phelps. They wanted to know the swimmers from Florida that were doing well. And so by focusing and staying focused on our community and our mission, we're covering the swimmers from Florida. That was what our audience appreciated. So how did this pay off? Well, our largest broadcast that we did on our own platform had 140,000 unique viewers tune in for not only the live stream, but then the replay of it. So that was a pretty big deal. That was our biggest meet, 140,000 unique viewers of one age group swim meet. We're not talking Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte, Katie Ledecky. We're talking about kids that are 12 and under swimming, kids that are 14 years old swimming. We got to know our parents. They knew to rely on us. They knew that they would bring the information to them, that we would focus and showcase and treat their swimmers like rock stars. So how did that pay off? Well, this time around, it was the Olympic year this past year. We had the USA Olympic trials. So we had a whole bunch of kids going from the state of Florida to try out for the U.S. Olympic team. In fact, we had 156 swimmers from the state of Florida go to Omaha to try to compete to win a spot on the U.S. Olympic team. So our audience asked us to go there. So we went there and we interviewed all 156 of them. And you know what? We had a number of them that actually did make the U.S. Olympic team. Elizabeth Beisel, Ryan Lochte, Caleb Dressel, Ryan Murphy. We had a bunch of names that made the U.S. Olympic team. And then it was time for the Olympics. Going to Rio with a staff big enough to be able to live stream and cover and do all of our reporting. It was going to take a lot for us to go. So we turned to our community and they said, we'd love to be there covering the swimmers from Florida that are in Rio, but we can't afford it. You know what our community did? They said, we want to send you. So they all voted and pitched in and gave us the finances to be able to go to Rio. And guess what? We had 57 swimmers that train in the state of Florida that we call Team Florida, hashtag Team Florida, that were competing in Rio, but they were representing 25 different countries. We had Alia Atkinson, who was the world record holder in the breaststroke. She was competing for Jamaica, but she trains right here in Miami. We had a lot of Olympic gold medalists that trained right here. We had swimmers from Russia, swimmers from South Africa, swimmers from just about any country. 25 of them training right here. So yeah. So Irene, it was amazing. And it was so honored for us to be able to represent Team Florida and cover them there. And it was only through live stream that we were able to build that. But my 3 best tips, because my time's almost up, is 1, don't treat it like television. Talk to your audience. Let them know that you see them, that they are a part of your broadcast. In fact, they were our statisticians. They would be Googling and say, hey, that's a new record for this pool. they can help you out. They want to be a part of it. It will increase their time on site. Use that chat room as my third one. And then my third tip before I go off air is to stay true to your live stream. So that's my 3 best tips for making live stream. And again, happy birthday to BeLive. What an accomplishment. And I just want to thank you guys for making this platform such a cool place to be. I love being part of the BeLive family. And it's a platform that has made BeLive, just makes live streaming easy. And it wasn't always easy. So that's a big deal. All right, guys. So that's it for me.